Welcome to the studio. I'm Jack Green, and today I have a very special guest all the way from California, Coach Briggs. Coach Briggs, how you doing today?
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to talk to you today. All right, so I know, like I said, you just came from California here to Oak Mountain and to Alabama. Can you tell me any culture shock you might have had moving from all the way out there to here?
I think the biggest culture shock that I've seen so far is everybody's more laid back, and people are like kind and nice. You know, California is really like everybody's on the go, 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 go. Everybody's trying to get somewhere, and there's like a lot of people. Where here, it's just, hey, we're just gonna, take our time driving and things like that. So for me, like just driving has been like the culture shock because it's not people like cutting me off and, giving me some, choice words, through their car. It's everybody's, oh, no, you go ahead, you go. And so for me, it's a good culture shock because everybody's been really, really kind and nice.
Yeah, it's our Southern hospitality.
Yeah, that is definitely a true, the true thing, that people talk about with the South is like people are just generally nice and polite. So.
And can you tell me any big differences there was between teaching in California and teaching here in Alabama?
I would say the biggest difference is I think that, and this is surprising to people that I talk to in Alabama, is like I think students here are held to a higher standing, both behavior-wise and academically. There's more core classes that students in Alabama have to take compared to California. And things like, just being on time are still relevant and important here where, in California, I'm used to having, 10 kids tardy every period. So I think, that's the biggest difference that I see as far as that, is that students here are held to a higher standard. Where that's kind of slipped in California. So.
And then I know you're also a wrestling coach here, and you coached wrestling back in California.
I did.
Can you tell me about your experience coaching wrestling and like why you fell in love with the sport?
So I got into mixed martial arts back years ago, like 15 years ago, just for fun. Like I did mostly like kickboxing, and I would do some grappling. And then my little brother, who's he's 15 years younger than me, he started wrestling in high school. So that's kind of where I started paying attention to it and started to fall in love with it, through his experience, and going and watching him wrestle and practicing with him. And I would do, my grappling stuff and he would do his wrestling stuff. And then that was the time that he was graduating high school was the time that I was switching to a teaching job. And so when I was doing my student teaching, school that I was doing my student teaching at, needed a wrestling coach. Well, that would be fun. So since then, I've just completely fallen in love with the sport. And it's a sport that I like because it's not all geared towards talent. It's based off of hard work. A lot of times, the kid that works the hardest is going to be your best kid in the room. And, they may not even have all the talent, natural, God-gifted talent. And so for me, it was a good, it's just something that fit my personality. And then a couple years into it is when girls started like really coming up with girl wrestling. And I think a lot of it had to do with, the UFC and people like Ronda Rousey and stuff like that. And so the opportunity came like, hey, you want to coach the girls. And coached the girls for 4 years. And then my last year as a head coach is when we won a sectional championship. In California, a sectional championship is, our section's like 500 schools. So it was a good accomplishment because it was like our first set of girls that we had for all 4 years. And they were all of our own homegrown girls. And that year I had like 35 girls on my team. So, and then, took a break for a couple years because it's long, and came to Alabama and going back into coaching again because I love it. So.
I can see you accomplished a lot there, and I'm excited to see how much you accomplish here at our school. And then I know you you teach history here, world history as well as government. Can you tell me about why you chose those subjects and why you chose history in general to teach?
So, history, I wasn't like the best student in high school, but the one thing that I always loved was history. And then when I decided to go back to college after being in the construction industry, I felt that, if I was going to go back to school, I might as well learn about something that I enjoy and that I like. And so I picked history, and I like world history because it's more complex. It's not like, with U.S. history, it's kind of you're rooting for yourself type of thing, where world history is you can kind of take a step back and look at, you can look at it as from a different viewpoint or multiple viewpoints. So world history has always been my wheelhouse of what I love. Opportunity came after 2 years of teaching to teach government. It's probably my second favorite as far as subject-wise, but I like teaching seniors. They're like adults at that time where you can have relevant conversations about what's going on, and they're more interested in the topic than my students are in world history. So it makes it a lot more fun to teach government than world history. Even though I love the subject of world history more, government's funner to teach because the kids are more engaged, more interested in it, and it's relevant to their lives because they're paying attention as well.
I get that too, especially being in your class. It's a lot more interesting learning about government, the topic, than learning world history as a freshman.
I can see that. I'm sure many students would agree with you on that. Yeah.
Well, Coach Briggs, thank you so much for coming out and joining us today. Well, thank you so much for watching. It's been Coach Briggs, and if you want to follow us on any of our socials, it's all at Oak MTN Media, and that includes our website as well. Thanks so much for watching.